Losing someone is hard enough, but compounding that loss with high funeral costs can be devastating. But you can save your family some heartache and wallet ache with pre-planning. I found out more.
Something that we really pride ourselves on here at Tharp is trying to keep funerals within a family's budget. Funerals can get expensive quickly. In this region, no matter which funeral home a family chooses, the average burial is now in excess of $10,000 in many cases. And that's more money than a lot of folks want to get in a position to spend. So we work hard when we're making arrangements at Tharp to talk about budget, to make sure that we're keeping things in line with what a family wants to financially. And the number one way we do that is through pre-planning, through encouraging families to take responsibility themselves, come in, make their arrangements ahead of time.
And with pre-planning, a lot of people actually spend a lot less money on themselves than the family would spend, right?
That's right. We've found statistically, and this is again statewide, folks will spend 30% less on their own arrangements than their family members would spend on their arrangements. And that's because of something called emotional overspending. We hear many times as directors, families will come in and say, well, he was a good husband or she was a good mother, and it's the last thing I can do for her. The problem is, in many cases, the deceased may have wanted that money to go to the grandchildren and not to the funeral home. But we would never know because they didn't come in and make their arrangements.
And plus, if you lost a spouse or something, the other person now doesn't have that source of income possibly, and
Sure.
It could be a huge bill on top of everything else.
Well, most folks are on, retired folks at least, are on fixed incomes, and they want to make sure. That's why, again, the importance of budget from our perspective is even enhanced for those folks. We can take better care of the community and better care of those families by just talking up front about, is there a dollar amount we need to keep this? Something I'm really proud of with how we do business, and Jeff does a great job of it in our pre-need department, is working with people ahead of time to come up with, what type of services do you want to have? Where do you want to have them, and what is your budget? We're locally family owned, so we can work with people within that budget and pretty much give them the type of services and merchandise they want every time. It's just, let's get creative and talk about it together.
So Jeff, let me talk to you a little bit about this. What's this process like? How many people do you get through that door, and is there any time period that's important?
Not really as far as a time frame that's important for them, but what we're finding now is that over half of the funerals that we serve, families have already pre-planned.
Oh, wow.
And I think they make it a win strategy for them because they've come in, and I think there's peace of mind in knowing if mom or dad took care of it ahead of time, knowing exactly what it was that they wanted, or maybe just as accurate to say what they didn't want. Mm-hmm. Hindsight being what it is, I think too that there's no secret about what the price of funerals has done and continues to do, and where 10 years ago it probably was half what it is now. There isn't anything that I can do or that they can do about that, but they have the ability to make sure that they don't pass along what inflation's going to do to the price of the funeral to their family. If they come in and they prepay it with us, which is an option, they don't have to do that, but the nice thing is they have that you've gotten.
So can we just come in, talk to you about it, get an idea? I mean, can you wait
Absolutely.
and think about it?
Absolutely. I have a lot of people that this is a hurdle, and we realize that it's not the easiest thing to talk about. And many times people will come to that hurdle, they'll get some information, and then they may walk away from it. But at some point, they'll come back and they'll talk about it. What I find is that many times when one generation has come in and pre-planned and taken care of everything, that's something that's important for the next generation to see in things that they didn't have to do on that day. And that is the best advertisement I can think for the next generation taking care of it ahead of time.
And to find out more about pre-planning, you can visit one of the many locations for Tharp Funeral Home and Crematory in our area, or you can give them a call, 434-237-9424, or tharpfuneralhome.com.